welcome back to Y254 TV. This is still Y in the Morning, where we radiate your life with good vibes, great conversations, and everything amazing. And talking about everything amazing, today I'm joined by a very lovely lady. She is a chef, and I don't know why I always tend to imagine every chef is a baker or a baker is a chef. Okay, she will tell me the difference, but I tend to think that ukikuwa baker, sijui wewe si chef or something. I just need to know where to draw the lines between who is a chef, who is a baker, what differentiates, all that. But you know what we do, she is here to tell us more about what she does, who she is, her line of job, her entrepreneurship journey. She is just a cocktail of many things. So let's welcome Kiki Vida to studio. Karibu sana.
Asante.
You're good?
Yes, I'm
Kama
well.
kukimbisha.
Kutoka asubuhi.
It's been nilitoka home, then nafika Westi, niko like mbona hakunyeshi huku, then niko like okay sawa.
Same case, natoka home, there's fog and it's raining. Nafika Westi, hakuna mvua.
It's not raining, I
Yeah.
know. But you're good?
Yes, I'm well.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Good to have you and good to meet you in person.
Person, finally.
I've eaten your cakes, but I've never met you in person, so I'm like,
Yeah, funny
because
thing.
I have friends where you go to church, so they always bring me pieces of cake from you. Yeah, to muffins here and there. I'm like, okay, I've eaten a lot of her pastries, but I've never seen her. So that's why I always tend to think you're a chef, you're a baker. Only for me to realize that you're actually a chef. Then I'm like, okay, this is the second time I am confusing someone for a baker. You'll tell me the difference though. So who's Vida?
Oh, Vida. First, Vida means life.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what does Vida mean? That's an interesting name.
Yes, it is. And it's my name.
Do you know at some point, nilingoja uniambie, by the way, this is not my real name. This is just a name I use. So when it was not coming, I was like, okay, fine. All right. So she's called Vida. All right.
Funny thing, Kiki is my nickname, but Vida is my real name.
Oh.
Yes. I'm Margaret Vida Mwehaki.
Hey.
Yes.
Your mother was thinking.
Thank you, Mom.
So who's Vida?
Vida is a daughter to one awesome lady. Her name is Catherine. Vida is a mom of 3. Vida is a sister who has 2 sisters and 2 brothers. Vida is a chef. Now the difference between a chef and a pastry chef, they're all chefs actually, but they do different things. And how my journey started, mimi ni mtoto wa Dagoretti Corner North Market, Dago Corner, and I loved cooking from the word go because I love good food. I tend to be choosy at times, not because I don't love food, but I love good food, and that is how my passion started. So I used to look at videos, get cookbooks, go through them and try the recipes. And another person who used to really encourage me was my grandma. She's late now, but she's one person who really encouraged me because during our birthdays, she used to bake the cakes. She never used to buy.
Ah.
Yes. So birthday cakes, sure she'll take care of that. And that is how my passion grew. Me being a chef is what I'm gifted in. Funny thing. Because what I studied in school is contrary to what I'm doing right now.
What did you study?
Under Plan International, when we were doing home-based care, I studied special education.
Huh?
Yes, and early childhood. Yeah, the irony of it. But I ended up a chef.
So you went to school later?
Actually, I didn't finish that school.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Take me through that whole journey.
So, first and foremost, the reason as to why I did it, it's not because I wanted to become a teacher. I did it because I had a sister who was a child of special needs, and I wanted to know more about taking care of them. But later on, I relocated to Mombasa, and that is when I started officially cooking. I worked at Young Women Christian Organization. It's in Kizingo, Mombasa. I worked there as a casual. So I was a cook and a pantry cleaner at the same time. Worked there for a while, then had my daughter, and I had to come back to Nairobi. When I came back to Nairobi, I went back to teaching for a while.
Oh.
Yes. Grew up at Cornerstone Faith Assembly Church It's in Dagoretti Corner. And while we were there, one lady owned a school, and she gave me the opportunity to teach in her school. And I taught there for a while also. Then it happened, a childhood friend had already come back to Kenya, and I need to give her her flowers. Her name is Anne, Anne Mamboy. She was the general manager at Mambo Italia. At that time, it had a food court in Galleria. And she told me the job vacancies, if I'm interested, I can go ahead and apply. So I went with my CV. I've never worked in such a kitchen before. I meet one of the managers, his name is John Dolo, and he asks me a very funny question. The kitchen is divided. First, I didn't know that. Kuna side ya pizza, kuna side ya hot kitchen, na kuna side ya stewarding. Guess what I thought akiniambia stewarding?
Shepherds.
Unaona tu stewards, unasikia stories of stewards uko airport and whatnot. That's what I thought at that time. That is end of 2013. Funny enough, stewarding is mse wa kuosha vyombo. That's stewarding, cleaning.
Simseme tu mtu wa kuosha vyombo.
So, nikaka hivi nikaziuliza, napenda kupika chapo, so what do I go for? And I was like, let me go to roll. Wacha nika roll. And that's how I joined the pizza section. And that is how I passed my interview, actually. And I was employed at Mambo Italia because they were opening a restaurant now at Lavington Cove. Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
It was an awesome experience. First challenge being the only lady in a pizza section working with men. I had to man up. And but it was interesting because at the same time working with them, they teach you a lot, and I grew, and I was promoted to a chef de partie, person in charge of the pizza section. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So, just walk me through. I've had you mention sections in the kitchen, and I'm like, kitchen nakuanga na sections. Si need to pick it, talk it, when So how does the kitchen look like for a chef?
First, it depends with the restaurant and the cuisine they deal with. But our kitchen is divided. We have the cold kitchen where they deal with salads. Then we have the hot kitchen where they deal with hot foods, like let's say if you've ordered a steak with some veggies and mash and something like that. At the same time, now we have the pizza section if you're working in a kitchen that offers pizzas. Yeah. But literally, the kitchen is divided. We have a mise en place section. We have the stewarding section whereby everything is cleaned. We have a sanitizing station whereby you sanitize the things that have not been cooked yet, because you can't also prep and cook something that has not been cleaned and sanitized for hygiene purposes. Yes.
Okay. So how has the employment journey been to? I know you also do entrepreneurship on the side. So before we get to how did you get to entrepreneurship, how has being employed been for you?
Being employed has been quite an interesting journey. It's a journey full of good tidings, valleys, hills. Like, you get to experience all sorts of things. And one thing with this hospitality industry is that people always meet. It doesn't matter where you go. We always meet. So it's been, the word I can use is interesting in different ways. Yes.
So what was the turning point for you to start your own business?
I always wanted to own my own restaurant and also create employment for young people who are passionate about food like me. Because people tend to confuse something when it comes to food. There's a difference between you studying hospitality and doing it because you want a job, and you doing hospitality because you love it. You can actually tell the difference when someone has prepared food because they love what they do, and someone who has prepared food because it's just a career. You can actually tell.
How?
There's love in that food. You will enjoy every bit of it from the starting point. But if it's just kawaida, there's that touch that misses. Yes. Yeah. It's not just kawaida. It has to come from within. It doesn't matter that it's food. People think as if it's, no. It has to come from within also.
So how do you, the business you run right now, it's a full-on restaurant, or what do you do?
No, actually I prepare items from home.
Ah,
Yes.
okay. Take me through that.
At home, me doing pastries is self-taught. I know myself. Yes.
Interesting. Hey, you have so much sense to you that I didn't think.
Yes. So I taught myself pastry because I love pastry. I love the art of it, and I love learning new things. I'm multi-skilled. So I taught myself, and I've been doing that from home. Then I advertised myself online, shared with friends, and that's how I get orders.
Oh.
And that's how you got you sent me an order through a friend.
Oh yes, and you have very yummy cakes. Yeah. You too. So
Thank
how is
you.
it juggling between business and employment?
You have to balance the two. At times it's not easy, but at times at times it's not easy, but you really have to balance. One thing I'm grateful for is hospitality industry is wide. But when you're working outside here in hotels and restaurants, most of the times you work even during the weekends. But where I am right now, it's not just work, it's also ministry. And you also get time, let's say during the weekends or during your off day, you get to do something. Yeah, so that is how I'm able to balance both. Yes.
How would you describe your cooking style?
My cooking style,
Feels like you're in an interview.
I'm telling you, because unaona kama sahi,
Uh-huh.
I'm doing American cuisine. And it's something that American, Kenyan, local food. The American cuisine, it's not something that I had done before. But where I work right now, it's a Christian organization, and we have so many guests who come as ministers from the States, and they prefer their food. Funny thing, during my first interview, I was told at that place now, I was told to draft a menu, an American menu. Guess what I did? I checked out what they like. I've never made it before. And I wrote apple pie as a dessert on one of the menus, and that's the one they chose. And had never made apple pie in my life.
Oh my God. So how did that go?
I made it. I did, actually. I did. And from that time, actually, apple pie is one of their favorite desserts. All the time, I have to prepare apple pie. Yeah.
Interesting. How many things have you had to learn on your own?
Quite a number. Quite a number, because come up when it's either upite interview or most and I'm like, how do they make apple pie? So I went through the recipe and I'm like, the kind of sugar they use, ours is more stronger. So I reduced the quantity of sugar, and you just play around with the recipe, and yeah, the outcome was awesome.
Amazing.
That's it.
So have you ever found yourself at a place where you were like, you ever nyamaza benja ananichongoje nimesema have you ever
It happens.
It happens.
Yes.
Ever found yourself at a place where you felt like you probably could have chosen a different career path? Sometimes unajipata uko at a breaking point and you're like, sasa huku ni nini nafanya huku, maybe I should have been a teacher or something.
Funny enough, I've never.
Oh.
When I go back and check what I used to write when I was young, it's funny, because kuna time niliandika I wanted to be a journalist, I wanted to be a secretary. You see those crazy stuff, but I don't regret where I am, because I love what I do, and that's who I am. Yes.
There are trends that keep coming in every industry, in the media, in fashion.
Yes.
I believe that there are trends that come up in your culinary line of work.
Yes.
What are some of those trends? How do you ensure that you stay on top of those trends and still remain relevant?
One thing with culinary, there are those who, okay, let's say trends, unaweza pata someone has already made a brand, and so whether trends come and change or not, they're still in market. However, you can always, there's this thing of reviewing the menus, like there's this menu you've been using for a while, then you notice there are items that don't move, and then you look at the market and what is really moving, what is on demand. So that those are some of the things you work on, and you adjust on the menus, and also get to be at par with trends and whatever is changing in the industry. And simplicity is always the key, though. Yes.
Have you ever had to deal with a difficult client?
Yes.
How was it?
Terrible. And you see, there's this statement that the client is always right. And one thing, we were undergoing a class like a day ago, and there's one thing I learned. First, funny thing is, I had experienced a bad client relationship. Then this statement came that for you to be a leader, you have to be a servant. So if you can't be a servant, then leadership is beyond you. You just have to come down. Even if the client just throw tantrums and says all sorts of things, you have to just breathe in and out and apologize even when you're not wrong, for it to just cool. Then later on, they'll be able to relax and be like, oh, what I did was wrong. And they'll come back and actually apologize. Yes, and there are those who don't apologize, which is fine, because we have different types of people in this life, and you don't know what someone is going through. So it will never cost you anything to be and do good and be kind. Yes.
I can imagine scenario where, of course, si tunaitishanga food tukiwa kwa restaurant, hatujui nani ako huko behind the scenes anaipika. Ikifika uko like, oh, I don't like it. How does that make you feel as a chef?
It's diminishing at times. And one thing most clients make is ordering something you don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It is also good to be familiar with the menu. Because if you're not familiar with the menu, you'll end up being disappointed, because you'll order something you thought it was, but in real sense, it's not what you thought.
Tell me about it. I've been in that situation. Unaitisha tu kitu juu unaona
the name is fancy, sindio? We had a scenario whereby a client ordered something called the antipasto platter. Antipasto platter basically contains cured meats. Napoli, Milano, mortadella, Parma ham, cheese. And trust me, if you're Kenyan and you're not used to that, you'll not eat it. Alishindwa kukula. But the name sounds really fancy. No, antipasto platter. Kwanza ni platter.
Mimi ningefikiria ni tunyama hivi, sijui kakuku, kapok, sijui kanini.
Sasa ni nyama, yes, but ni cured meats. See cooked meats. No, they're cured, but you can eat them like that. So it's also good to be familiar with the menu. And if you don't understand, you have all the rights to inquire, and you'll be told what it entails. Yes. Yeah, because we have customers who cause drama even in restaurants. There are those who do that because they don't want to pay bills, though. But there are those who do that because they're shocked by what they've ordered. And I'd always encourage clients, kindly go through the menu, understand it. If you don't, feel free to ask. If you want the chef to be called and explain it to you, we actually do that.
Oh, so yes. Nikienda nione jina inakaa fancy hapa na nataka kukula, laanza kumuuliza, unaweza niambia hii ni nini inaitisha?
Yes, unaweza sema naweza ongea na chef. Na chef ataitwa, nataka kuexplain vizuri.
But I tend to think, especially hatutakangi kuonekana nikaa tujui, hiyo ndio shida.
Sasa how will we learn if we don't want to say what we don't know?
I think a lot of people don't want to look like I don't know what that is.
But we've grown up learning because we were born not knowing. Yeah. So it's a learning process for everyone. We all learn from one another, and that is why each and every person is important.
Okay, yes. All right. So Benja is asking, Benja is our director. Benja is asking, what is usually wrong with those people that use avocado to eat pizza?
Avocado to eat pizza? Wait, I think it's the love for avocado, maybe. I don't know how I can explain that, because avocado on pizza. Whoa, okay, that's really interesting. I think it's the love for the avocado, so they decide to combine it with everything they have, including pizza.
Okay. So the other thing he's also asking, easy as well, somebody Benjamin, where do you take excess food in the restaurant, or rather in an event?
In an event?
In the restaurant, mepika, food imebaki, where do you take the remainder? Okay,
mostly in restaurants, it's a la carte. We serve food as per order. But when it's an event, first we work with budgets. You have to work with numbers, you can't assume. However, if the food remains, staff eat also. Because you see, staff are part of you. You can't operate without the staff. So the food is also eaten. Yes.
What has been the highest point, or rather the highest peak of your career?
The highest peak of my career? Let me see. I'm trying to think. Now that I'm writing my cookbook, I think that's the highest peak of my career right now.
Yes. Amazing. Is there a particular person you don't want to cook for?
I would want to cook for. There are particular people I've already cooked for. A particular person I'd love to cook for. Where? That's
Venye unaweza tamani nataka kupikia so and so.
Don't najaribu kufikiria ni nani, because when I was working at English Point, I got the opportunity to cook for so many people mpaka. Who would that be?
You don't have a little, like,
Imagine
a
I'm trying.
list.
I'm
So
trying.
maybe natasema, is there a particular person I'd want to interview? So for you, is there a particular person you don't want to cook for?
Here in Kenya, am just internationally?
Wherever.
Wow.
If you had an opportunity to make one meal for that person.
Hey, imagine I'm still trying to load and think. Who would that person be? I would love to. There's this chef who trained me before. He's a Michelin star chef. I would love to get the opportunity to cook for him so that he can see what he planted in me. His name is Mosine Korish. He used to be an executive chef at Fairmount. Yes, Chef Mosine Korish.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And Chef Ali, because they trained
Who
me
said?
together.
Mahindra.
No,
Okay.
Chef Ali Mandri, yes.
Yes, that one, Mandri.
Yeah, they
I love Hussein, especially for the Vrunya Manangu parts.
yes. So they both trained me when I was at English Point, and I would love the opportunity to do that for them. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing out that, which informs me the next thing I want to ask you. Having gone through mentorship from well-experienced chefs,
Yeah.
does mentorship have a place in, like do you have a place for mentorship in you?
Yes, I do. I do. One thing I said and I promised myself is that anywhere God places me, I'll make sure I do better and give all the knowledge that I have to the people that will be around me. And at the same time, learn from them, train them, and make sure they're better than me. Because life is of levels. Where you are right now, someone else was there before. Then when you move a step higher, someone else has to take that position. And for that person to take that position, you should make sure you've equipped them to become even better than you, that they'll also leave the place better than they found it. So that is the way. I always say, if you have knowledge, if you know something, share, train people, let them know about it. And that same way, you also grow. Because you also get to learn. Yes. Yeah.
What's the most fulfilling thing about being a chef?
The most fulfilling thing about being a chef, the fact that you're taking care of people. You know, for someone to be nourished, their tummy has to be full. The fact that you take care of them and you cook for them, and then they give you feedback, whether it's good or not good, they're all important, because first you learn to appreciate your value, and secondly, you also learn to become better. Because when someone gives, let's say, it's never, yes, it's negative, but it's also a learning thing. Yes, it's a learning experience. So feedbacks are always very, very important. Because if you don't get feedback, you'll never know what this person thinks. But when they give feedback, you'll get to know what they think and what they would suggest or what they have appreciated, and where should you work on, or where is your strength at. Yes.
Okay, all right. So what do you wish someone told you when you began that you know now? Like you'd say, I wish they told me this when I began.
I wish someone told me
Yes.
that hospitality industry, especially the kitchen, has too much pressure.
Yes. It does.
Actually, people think that being in the kitchen is fun.
I also think so. I don't know.
That place is hot. The place is always hot. Temperatures rise, especially when you're busy. You just have to create the fun, because you have no option. Because if you don't, you'll get angry. But temperatures rise, and at times you're under so much pressure. But you just breathe in, breathe out, and flow with the pressure until you're done. Yes.
Okay. Paint for me an image of how your day looks like.
At work, on a busy day or not busy?
Whichever.
I can paint for you how it was like last week. It was a busy week because we had a pastors' conference, and this is how the day looks like. First, You debrief all the staff and all the casuals you'll be working with, because we hosted over 800 pastors.
Oh.
Yes. So you debrief all of them. We have 3 kitchens. So you have a main kitchen, you have a jewel house kitchen, and you have a cafe. Then you tell them the do's and the don'ts. You check if they're at par with how they're supposed to present themselves. After that, everyone goes to their section. So that is how my day begins. Then I go to the other kitchen, and I'm also cooking there and baking at the same time. And the same thing is happening in this other kitchen. And at the same time, after that, I have to go around and see if everything is flowing, because we're also working under time.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. So your day from asubuhi to jioni, chop onions, chop nyanya, chop dania, chop garlic, chop everything.
Yeah, you chop everything and you cook. You're chopping, you're cooking, you're going around. You have to confirm the items that have come that you requested for. If they're not there, you have to follow up.
Wow.
Until they're there.
Wow.
At the same time, food has to be set at a particular time, because people have to be served at a certain time. Yes, because if you delay, everything else delays throughout the day.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
Na watu hawapendi kucheleweshwa food,
Exactly.
especially when they're in a conference.
Yes.
Unakuanga ukishangaa hao watu wamekuwa wakifanya nini huko ndani kwa kitchen the whole time.
Yes.
Not thinking that they especially when you have breakfast, you have tea at 10, you have lunch. Then you have afternoon tea at 4, then you have dinner. And then you're like, then ukapo like, what are you guys doing? But I'm just paying chai 10. But imechelewa ni 10:30. Why have you not set up? I understand. What are some of the challenges you faced?
Some of the few challenges I've faced. Before I started working in a Christian organization, some of the challenges I faced was I never had a social life. Yes. So unapata mpaka mtu akwambia ulipotea, but si kupenda kwako. Because huku nje unapata off day ni weekday. So ukiwa off, watu wako job. Na wewe ukiwa job, watu wako off. So you don't have a social life. And you're off, it's just one day and you need to rest. I didn't even have time for my own kids, and that really affected me. And yeah, my one prayer was that I get a place whereby I will not just be doing work, but also ministry, and at the same time have time for my kids, which I do now, and I'm glad. Yes.
So, do you cook at home the way you cook at work?
Chefs don't cook at home. I do at times.
So you don't cook at home?
At times I do.
Okay. So,
but I've trained my kids.
Question number 2. When someone else presents you food, do you eat it? Yes.
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 I was
going to that question.
Yes.
Question. Do you judge the food?
Yes, we do. We judge the food. It just happens. Si kupenda, it happens. It just, I can't explain how, but it happens. And you look at that food and you have so much to say about that food.
Hey.
Yes.
Jamani.
Yeah, we do.
Kwanza imepletiwa. Mimi sikupiki.
Mbona anipike tu sita judge, I promise. Sita judge. Aki gracious sita judge.
Do you feel like the people that live around you people feel under pressure? Especially those ones that are not able to cook as good as you guys are.
It depends.
For example, now your children, your spouse, like the people close to you. Are they under pressure to make meals a certain way?
No, they're not.
Okay.
My kids are like their mom. They love good food. And so they've learned and they know how to make good food. I've taught them how to bake also. So they're not under pressure.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
There are questions that I'm usually nasemanga ndauliza chef nikipatana na chef rafiki yangu. Do you always want to eat food that's up to a certain standard, or you just want to eat bora tu any food like zile za I eat this, I know how to make this, just give me kawaida food. Don't start saying garnish, parsley, what, just make kawaida ugali, skuma, ekelea juu ya meza nikule.
Yes.
What do you prefer?
As long as food has been prepared by someone else, I'll eat it. Because I love good food. And I love food. We eat kawaida food. Mimi those stories za kuganish, yes, lazima uganish and what not job, but no, I'm cool, let's eat. Ugali, fish. Hey.
What's the hardest meal you've ever prepared?
The hardest meal I've ever prepared. Was it a meal or a pastry? I'm trying to think. Because meals, the hardest one I've ever had. I think it was a pastry.
Uh-huh.
It was a lemon bar.
A lemon what?
A lemon bar. It backfired on me.
What's that?
You first you make a crust, then using lemon juice, lemon zest, and eggs. Now you make a covering. Inakakama tart, but sasa hiyo ni bar because it's long. Then you portion it. The time it backfired on me. It was hard. The first time I made it, it backfired. Because you need to pre-bake the crust kidogo. Then now you pour the liquid and bake it. So when I poured the liquid, but like juu ya crust ikauke ilienda chini. Ili suck in chini. So
What happened?
I had to improvise. I prepared lemon curd. Kando haraka haraka. So I turned it and added lemon curd on top, and it was lemon bar.
Hey!
Yeah.
Where? Okay. All right.
Yes.
How do you envision the future for you? Like,
As Vida.
yes, as Vida, the chef, moving.
The future for me is to first to own my own restaurant and also have other branches, create employment for the young people, train them also and empower them. For those who are not able to go and study in school, you train them, they become better, then they get paid as they're employed and they're able to stand for themselves and also study in future. Yes, impart generations, because one thing, when God gives you a gift, it's never for you, it's for other people. So when you manifest it, a generation is being changed somewhere. It doesn't matter if it's one person, but that one person is a generation. So when you impart one person's life, you've imparted a generation. And that is what Vida needs to do. That is what Vida is working towards. Yes.
We live in a season, especially lately, I don't know why, but lately we are in a season where everyone is particular about what they eat, diet issues, weight loss, weight,
Yes.
all those things.
Yes.
And we also live in a society where people have allergies. How do you take care of people with allergies? Eggs, nuts, soy, what?
First, if a group is booking, we tell the person in charge to make sure they share with us the dietary needs. Because, yeah, we have those people and health issues. So when we are able to get a list and get to know this particular person is allergic to this. And at the same time, we also communicate. Let's say if you've gone to a restaurant, you check the menu. If something has nuts, you'll see it's written N. It means it has nuts. If it is wheat, there's G, meaning it has gluten. But there's always an option of gluten-free. There's always an option of lactose-free. There's always an option of vegetarian instead of, let's say, the proteins like eggs and nuts. Because you find we have very serious allergies. There are those who, okay, there's a scenario whereby someone can even die because of an allergy, especially when it comes to nuts. So we are very cautious about that because you don't want to put someone's life at stake. And at the same time, we always insist when it's a group that you communicate and let us know so that we are able to handle that situation when the guests are here.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation where your food was returned because someone felt it was not satisfactory?
Yes, I have.
Tell me that situation.
Was it at MI or Java? I think it was a pizza. A garlic lava pizza. The client said, I mean, order garlic lava. The name tells you this thing is full of garlic.
Yes.
Yes. And we used to, after making the pizza, we used to add pecorino cheese on top. Then the client, hakusema, hakuspecify. When the order went, the client brought it back that they never wanted the pecorino cheese. But it was never communicated, so the food came back.
How did that make you feel?
It makes you feel bad because you have to redo the order. But at the same time, you ask yourself so many questions. Siangesema tu yani. Yeah, because unajiuliza mbona alifanya hivyo. Yeah, but
nishaenda Java one time, nikaenda nikapewa, what do we call this, quesadillas, and me in my mind quesadillas should have mozzarella cheese. Then nikaletwa iko na feta, cheddar cheese.
Cheddar cheese,
Hey, nilikuwa okay, I'm usually those ones that don't like drama, so I'll eat, but I will eat nikifanya.
Did you request for cheddar?
No.
Did you request for mozzarella?
No. So I didn't know the way it looked on the photo. I was like, ini ile tu kaile ya CJ, so it's okay. I will eat. It will come with mozzarella. It came with cheddar. It was bad. I ate it. Look, doing this.
Haikuwa imeindikitiwa kwa menu.
No, they had not. So when I'm now asking the waitress, it's when she's saying, "Oh yeah, hours we make it with cheddar."
Oh my.
Then I'm like,
it's because
okay.
you had compared it. You had compared Java to CJ's.
Yes. So
And yet they're two different restaurants.
I was like, wacha tuikae.
Pole.
Ni kama sasa hivi make peace na sitakuwa naitisha Alfredo pasta anywhere.
Why not?
I've just made peace.
Why?
Because I have realized I am comparing it to moja somewhere. So I'm like,
What experience did you have with the Alfredo pasta?
okay, I ate one that was very nice. Then I went to other restaurants. It was over salty. So I'm like, hakuna mali nishaipata place ingine wanapika. So if I want Alfredo pasta, let me just go to this restaurant and stick to that.
Why don't you make it at home?
I did yesterday.
Awesome.
I did yesterday. But I also felt like pia mimi nili over salt. Nikaanza kuweka sukari ndani. Speaking of which, as we almost come to an end of this, tell me, this is just like a question ya kujazilia as we finish the conversation, which has hit my mind right now. Tell me of different scenarios in the kitchen or different accidents in the kitchen and how we can take care of them. Like uki oversalt food ufanye me, like yesterday when I oversalted my pasta, I put sugar. So should I have put sugar? What should I have done? Like you see, in the instance where you over oil food or you over nini, how do you reduce too much salt in food? Yeah, so take me through 1 or 2, 3, 4 scenarios.
Okay, if you over oil food, you know the oil will come on top. You can take ice cubes, place it on a ladle, a metallic ladle, and just put it round, and the oil will stick on the ladle because not saying shikane, and you will reduce the oil. When it comes to, let's say, food imeungua, there are scenarios whereby you can cook rice and it burns. We use like you clean a raw potato and put it inside. It absorbs that smell. Yeah. Kungua rice.
You put what?
Potato.
Potato.
A raw one.
Okay.
Inside. It
You
absorbs.
chonga, then you put it.
Inabsorb your harufu ya nini.
I didn't know.
Kungua. Scary. Mostly we add sugar. If let's say if it's unaona kama tomato sauce. Yes, you can add sugar, but it also depends. Because kuna unaweza add sugar, it tastes funny. No. But you also have to be cautious to avoid some mistakes because they're avoidable. Yeah. There's a place where you can use vinegar. Where is it? I'm trying to recall. Nikikumbuka nitakwambia.
Sawa. So, ukiunguza food eka viazi juu.
Na kuna nyewe wanaeka mkate. There are those who put bread also on top.
Interesting.
You absorb your harufu. Yes.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. How do you ensure you stay on top of trends while maintaining your identity or your brand?
I make sure there's consistency in the products that I make. Always updating on social media and also sharing if I have something new coming up. What else? I think the other thing I can say is just God's favor because things just fall into place. Yes. Because one thing is, when someone tastes what you've prepared for the first time and they love it, they'll always come back. Yes.
Okay. Amazing. So, as we come to an end, I finished like 50 times like a pasta.
No worries.
In the scenario where I saw, what we call this, that thing I was telling you, like cheddar cheese, quesadillas, and they looked so nice on the photos, and then what was delivered to me was not
totally different.
was not as nice as what looked
Yeah.
on that nini. What are your views on advertising, food advertising, especially when we feel like as a client we feel like this was false advertising?
It's like you're
Uliniekea tu
cheated.
ka light hapa hivi kakaa vizuri, but then what you delivered to me was not nice.
What I'll say is that we should deliver what we advertise.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because people have expectations, and mostly people go by what they see. So if someone sees this thing and whatever you deliver is contrary to that, you lose. You're losing a client, and you know bad news spreads faster.
Yeah.
Yes, what I'll say is that I'll encourage us to deliver what we advertise. There should be consistency. Like, we should practice what we preach. Yes, I'm of that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Benja is asking if you know the roaming chef.
The ramen chef. Yes, I do. I know him.
So
I've
Benja
watched
wants to know, what do you think about his style?
his style of cooking.
Cooking, yes.
Done and everything done.
Done.
Done. Funny enough, when you mix everything in food, you chakula watamu sana. I don't know why.
Ah,
That's the funny thing.
interesting.
Ukionja food yenye kila kitu imemixiwa ndani, like done. Na uonje food imepikwa sijui kitunguu kakaangwa nini. Unapatia hii food ingine ni tamu. Labda kwangu though. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to aspiring chefs?
Aspiring chefs, first, don't let anyone kill your dream. Being a chef is a skill like any other. People tend to look down on, there are those people who tend to look down on chefs. They're like, kwani hiyo ni kazi kupika tu. It's not just kupika. Yeah. It's a responsibility. It is a career, and it is a skill. And if you want to be a chef, go for it. The only person who can stop you is you. You're the only person who can stop yourself, because you will limit yourself. But no one else can. There's a time I saw a Kenyan lady akiwa ameshinda Michelin star, and that challenged me. And I'm like, if only Africa can embrace hospitality like this, tungekuwa mbali. Yes. Chefs are also important. Skills careers and skills see story to the office and whatnot peke yake. Hata watu office, they need food. Unaona? It's like the same way kwa your kitchen, you need that steward to wash those utensils so that you can cook. We need those builders to build those houses so that you can live in them.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Each and every person is important. And if you want to be a chef, I'll say go for it. Go for it.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Tell us where we can find your business, or where we can find you online using this camera.
Okay, online you can find me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram at Kiki Vida. You can find me in Limuru, Life Church. And you can also find me at Clarence Martini Leadership Training Institute.
Amazing.
Yeah, which is also located in Limuru.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me.
Is there something else you want to tell us?
Something else that I'd love to tell you. You are of value. Everyone is of value. They should always remember that.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you
too.
for talking to us.
And thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Miss Dre, mtu kama Val alikuwa anaangalia ile interview juu alikuwa ana feel she loves food and she wants to hear everything about food. And she had amazing questions. Some of the questions I asked you, Val sent them to me because she wanted to know me. Nataka kujua hii, nataka kujua hii, nataka kujua.
Mwambie akuje nimfunze. No worries.
Val ushapewa free.
If she can come to Limuru, no problem.
Val, unafikiria Val atakosa kukuja Limuru? She will come.
Haogopi baridi.
Haogopi.
Mwambie akuje basi. I'll teach her.
She's already dancing and jumping. We need to end this conversation so that Val can come with WCW. Please go on our social media handles at Y254 channel on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Check our question of the day and Salimia us. Val will be reading that and much more as she comes with WCW. That was it from us here at Empowerment Cafe. Me, I think I'm carrying one thing that Vida has said. Don't let anyone kill your dreams. Don't let anyone dim your light. Like, go for it. You can do it. If you can believe in it, you can do it and you can take it. So don't let anyone dim your light. See you.
Thank you.